All right, so we've got a really interesting deep dive ahead of us today. You've sent in a ton of articles on affirmations,
Yeah.
and clearly you're interested in how these positive statements can lead to real change.
hmm
And I got to tell you, it's way more than just thinking happy thoughts.
You're absolutely right. It's really fascinating, actually. It's like affirmations bridge this gap between, ancient wisdom and then cutting edge neuroscience.
Right.
We're talking about practices that have been around for centuries, and now we're finally starting to understand the why behind them, how they actually work.
Okay, so for our listeners out there who hear the word affirmations and think it's just a bunch of wishful thinking, what's the best way to explain how these things actually work?
Well, you got to think about it like this. Our brains are these incredible organs constantly adapting and rewiring themselves
Hmm.
based on our experiences and even our thoughts. And neuroplasticity is the term for this.
Okay.
And it's the key to understanding how affirmations can create change.
So every time we repeat an affirmation, we're kind of like carving out new pathways in our brains.
Exactly. Imagine like a path in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
The more you walk it, the more defined it becomes.
Right.
Affirmations work similarly. They reinforce specific thought patterns, beliefs. They help us kind of shift from those well-worn paths of self-doubt and negativity to these new pathways of confidence, self-belief. And the more we travel those new paths, the more automatic those positive thoughts and behaviors become.
That reminds me a lot about the whole growth mindset concept, right?
Yeah.
Where instead of saying, oh, I'm terrible at math, you would say, I'm learning and improving my math skills.
Yeah.
You're seeing those challenges as opportunities.
Absolutely. And affirmations can be powerful tools in cultivating that growth mindset.
Okay.
When you repeat statements like, I embrace challenges as opportunities to learn, you're essentially telling your brain to approach those difficulties with a different perspective.
Interesting.
One of curiosity and possibility rather than fear and limitation.
It's like rewiring your brain to see setbacks, not as failures, but as stepping stones, like on the path to success.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think about Thomas Edison and that whole light bulb thing. And he said, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Exactly.
That's growth mindset in action.
Yes. And think about the impact that that shift in perspective can have on your life. It can be the difference between giving up on a goal because it feels too hard and persevering because you believe in your ability to learn and grow.
It can be everything.
It can be everything.
So how do affirmations play into figures like Louise Hay, who's often referred to as the queen of affirmations?
Mm-hmm.
She really popularized this idea of using these positive statements for personal growth.
Yeah, and her work was groundbreaking because she really helped bring the power of affirmations into the mainstream. She understood that our thoughts are incredibly powerful, and by consciously choosing to focus on positive, empowering statements, we can really transform our lives.
It's interesting, though, because some people might hear this and think, okay, so if I just keep telling myself I'm rich and successful, I'm going to magically win the lottery. But it's obviously not that simple.
Yeah, you hit on a really important point. Affirmations aren't magic spells.
Right.
They don't change external circumstances.
Okay.
They change our internal landscape, which then influences how we perceive and interact with the world around us.
Okay.
It's more like this. Imagine you're holding a map.
Mm-hmm.
The affirmations are like orienting the map in the right direction, but you still have to choose to walk the path.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good analogy because it really speaks to aligning our thoughts and our actions.
Exactly.
So it's not just enough to repeat these empty phrases. You have to embody those affirmations through the choices that you make and how you behave.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really interesting. We're not just talking about affirmations impacting our thoughts and feelings. There's growing evidence that they can actually influence our physical health as well.
Yeah, I was reading about that, the mind-body connection research.
Yes.
There was a study about how people who practice loving-kindness meditations, which involve repeating positive affirmations about themselves and others, actually showed changes in their brain activity in areas associated with empathy and compassion.
Exactly. And not just that, other studies have found links between practicing gratitude, which is a form of affirmation, and improvements in sleep quality, immune function, even cardiovascular health.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So it's not just about feeling happier or more optimistic. Those positive emotions can create a ripple effect in our lives that impact our physical well-being.
Exactly. It's like the placebo effect in action. When we believe something will have a positive impact on our health, even if it's a sugar pill, our bodies often respond accordingly. Our minds are that powerful.
That's pretty amazing. It really highlights the importance of our thoughts and beliefs, especially the ones that we repeat over and over again. A lot of people are interested in using affirmations for specific goals,
Yes.
like for improving their relationships or boosting their career success. So how do we move from these general concepts to applying affirmations to those really specific areas of our lives?
Well, it starts with getting really clear about what you want to create.
Okay.
Let's say your goal is to improve your communication skills in your relationships.
Mhm.
Instead of using a generic affirmation like, I am a good communicator, you might try something more specific like, I listen with an open heart and express myself clearly and respectfully.
So it's about tailoring those affirmations to what your needs are
Exactly.
and what your goals are. I imagine it's also important to not just focus on ourselves, but to also incorporate affirmations about the other people involved in those relationships.
Absolutely. For example, instead of dwelling on negative thoughts like, my partner never listens to me,
Mhm.
you might try an affirmation like, I trust that my partner loves me and wants to understand my perspective.
It's about shifting from a place of blame and resentment to a place of understanding and compassion
Precise.
for ourselves and for the other person.
Yeah. And when we approach our relationships from this more positive and open-hearted perspective, it naturally influences how we communicate and interact with each other.
Yeah, it's like they say, what you focus on expands.
Mm.
So if you're constantly focused on the negative aspects of your relationship, that's what's going to grow.
Right.
But if you consciously choose to focus on the positive,
Mm.
even if it feels challenging at times, we open up the possibility for more love, understanding, and connection.
You're exactly right. And this principle applies to career goals as well. It's like if we're talking about using affirmations to boost careers,
Yeah.
you'd think it'd be a no-brainer.
Right.
But I imagine there's some resistance there.
Yeah, definitely.
Because our careers are so tied to our identities and our sense of self-worth
Sure.
that it can be really scary to challenge those like deep-seated beliefs
Mhm.
about what we're capable of achieving.
It's like that fear of failure is amplified when it comes to your career.
Exactly. And this is where affirmations can be incredibly powerful because they help us to reframe those fears and doubts by introducing new empowering beliefs.
Okay.
So instead of saying like, I'm not qualified enough,
Mm.
you would try something like, I have the skills and experience to succeed in this role.
Okay, so it's about owning your strengths and believing in your potential
Mhm.
even before you have all that like external validation.
Precisely. And here's the thing about affirmations. They work best when they're paired with action.
Oh,
It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to magically fall into place.
right.
It's about using those affirmations as fuel
Okay.
to take inspired action towards your goals.
So affirmations provide that internal motivation and belief, and then action is what creates the external result.
Exactly. And as you start taking action and you start seeing progress, those successes become fuel for even stronger belief in yourself and your abilities.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
It is a positive feedback loop.
That makes me think about how we handle setbacks.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, setbacks are inevitable.
Absolutely. In any career journey.
And this is where a lot of people stumble.
Yeah.
They hit a roadblock
Mhm.
and they think, see, affirmations don't work.
Right.
But setbacks are not a sign of failure.
Okay.
They're an opportunity for growth and learning.
So it's about shifting from that fixed mindset
Yes.
where you see it as a personal shortcoming
Yes.
to a growth mindset where it's like, this is valuable feedback.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And affirmations can help us to navigate those challenging moments
Okay.
by reminding us of our strength, our resilience,
Hmm.
our capacity to learn and grow from every experience.
So instead of letting those setbacks completely derail us,
Yes.
we can use them as opportunities to refine our approach,
Mm,
strengthen our resolve, come back even stronger.
exactly. And here's another really important point.
Okay.
Affirmations aren't about denying or suppressing negative emotions.
Okay.
It's okay to feel scared, disappointed, frustrated.
Right.
When you encounter challenges,
You're human.
you're human.
Yeah.
You're going to have those
Full of
feelings.
doubt. But it's about acknowledging those emotions without letting them control us.
Okay, so it's not about pretending everything is perfect.
No.
It's about cultivating that inner resilience
Yes.
to help you navigate the ups and downs
That's right.
with a little more grace, a little more ease.
Precisely. And the more we practice affirmations, the more natural this way of thinking and being becomes.
Okay,
It's like strengthening a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
this has been incredibly insightful, I have to say.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So as we start to wrap up here,
Okay.
what's one final thought that you want to leave our listeners with?
I would say remember you are capable of creating a life you love.
Mm-hmm.
And affirmations are powerful tools to help you do just that.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the power of your thoughts and beliefs to shape your reality.
That's a really good reminder for all of us. So for our listeners who want to maybe dive a little deeper into this topic, what resources would you recommend?
Well, there are some amazing books and articles available.
Okay.
But I think the most important thing is to start experimenting with affirmations yourself.
Okay.
Find what resonates with you.
Mm.
Be consistent with your practice.
Right.
And most importantly, believe in your own potential.
It's about taking that first step and then the next and then the next.
Yeah.
It's a journey
It is.
of self-discovery and growth, and we're all in this together.
We are. You're exactly right. And this principle applies to career goals as well.
So we're back to using these affirmations to boost our careers.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think it'd be a no-brainer,
Right.
but I imagine there's some resistance there.
Absolutely. There is, because our careers are so tied to our identities
Yeah.
and our sense of self-worth
Mm.
that it can be scary to challenge those deep-seated beliefs
Yeah.
about what we're capable of achieving.
Like that fear of failure is amplified when it comes to your job.
Exactly. And this is where affirmations can be incredibly powerful
Uh-huh.
because they help us reframe those fears and doubts
Mm.
by introducing these new, empowering beliefs. So instead of, I'm not qualified enough,
Right.
it would be, I have the skills and experience to succeed in this role.
So it's about owning your strengths and believing in your potential even before you have all the external validation.
Precisely.
Interesting.
And here's the thing about affirmations. They work best when paired with action.
Got it.
It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to magically fall into place.
Right.
It's about using those affirmations as fuel to take inspired action toward your goals.
So the affirmations kind of provide the internal motivation and belief,
Exactly.
but then the action is what creates the external result.
Exactly. And as you start taking action and seeing progress,
Mm-hmm.
those successes become fuel for even stronger belief in yourself and your abilities.
Looks like a positive feedback loop.
It is a positive feedback loop.
That makes me think about how we handle setbacks.
Yes,
Because let's face it, setbacks are inevitable in
absolutely.
any career journey.
And this is where a lot of people stumble. They hit a roadblock and think, see, affirmations don't work.
You know, they give up.
But setbacks are not a sign of failure.
Okay.
They're an opportunity for growth and learning.
So it's about shifting from that fixed mindset
Yes.
to the growth mindset.
Yeah, yes.
Where it's like, okay, this is just feedback.
Exactly. And affirmations can help us to navigate those really challenging moments by reminding us of our strength, our resilience, our capacity to learn and grow from every experience.
So instead of letting those setbacks derail us,
Yeah.
we can use them to refine our approach,
Mm-hmm.
strengthen our resolve,
Exactly.
and come back even stronger.
Exactly. And here's another important point. Affirmations aren't about denying or suppressing negative emotions. It's okay to feel scared, disappointed, frustrated when you encounter challenges.
You're human.
You're human. It's natural to feel those things.
Right.
But it's about acknowledging those emotions without letting them control us.
So we're not pretending like everything is perfect all the time.
No.
It's about building up that inner resilience
Okay.
to help you navigate the ups and downs of life.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the more we practice affirmations, the more natural this way of thinking and being becomes. It's like strengthening a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
This has been incredibly insightful, I have to say. As we wrap up here, what's one thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Remember, you are capable of creating a life that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And affirmations are powerful tools to help you do just that.
That's a great reminder for all of us.
Don't underestimate the power of your thoughts and beliefs to shape your reality.
If our listeners want to dive deeper into this, what resources would you recommend?
There are so many amazing books and articles available,
Yeah.
but I think the most important thing is to just start experimenting with affirmations yourself.
Yeah.
Find what resonates with you, be consistent with your practice,
Yeah.
and most importantly, believe in your own potential.
Just take that first step and then the next one and the next one. It's a journey of
It is.
self-discovery, and we're all in this together.
Wait.
This has been another fascinating deep dive. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in and for submitting these thought-provoking questions.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep into the power of your own mind.
And remember, you are capable of amazing things. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.